In the bottom left now, in the blue, he's Precise Storm here on the new patch, on the new maps, in EPT NA, the grand finals. It's MaxPax. And on the upper right, in the red, for Team Liquid, it's Clem. And you know, you could be confused. You could be pardoned for thinking that this is EPT Europe. This is the European Cup because it's MaxPax and it's Clem, but this is being played on the new patch. And for those of you that are getting caught up here that didn't quite see the news, up until yesterday, as I'm recording this on Tuesday, up until yesterday at about like 8 o'clock Eastern, Europe and Korea were on 5.0.11. They were on the old patch. North America apparently decided to be a PTR realm. I don't know. It was on the new patch. So there were about 5 days when North America had 5.0.12 with the Cyclones and the Raven nerfs and the Baneling changes and everything else, and the new maps, all 9 of them. But Europe, Korea, they didn't have that. Now, they did not have access to the new... You could go play on NA, but they couldn't have access to that. So that means that this EPT Cup, it has $400 attached to it, much like Europe and Korea did, but there's no EPT point pool. So for now, these players are not playing for 10 points, for 5 points, for however that breakdown goes. They're just playing for money. They're playing to play on the new patch, and for whatever reason, it means that as we play here at 5 in the morning, whatever it is, the European time, it's MaxPax and Clem that have found their way here to this grand finals. And already, I don't know what every map is in the pool. I don't know. I don't have that memorized yet, but more importantly, I don't know what every map we're going to find in this series, or a series in general. We know that Raduset, or however you say it, is most likely getting banned out by everyone. It's a 43-second rush distance, which is the longest one it's the longest map that I can remember really noting. Maybe like Ice and Chrome was longer, but I don't even think that. Long map, heavily turtle, incredible siege positions. No one wants to play it. I think we will see it occasionally, just especially in best of sevens. But for now, I fixed this. I'm a little annoyed. I know this happened in the last video too. My settings are not getting saved. I need to remember to go, and every time I open the client now, I need to make this happen. Regardless, Adepts, they're going to show up on the other side here, but there's a bunker. SCV stays alive, and MaxPax doesn't have a shade yet. He can't dive behind the Nexus easily, so he's not going to get much done. And the Reaper on the other side, a couple probes are low here. He's going to get a probe. And yeah, there's a Stalker on the high ground. Makes it hard for Clem to move up higher and get more done. But he gets a probe. The Adepts don't get a lot done until the second ones arrive, until the Shades are ready. And now they're not going to get an SCV. They're just going to deny mining. That's something. That's valuable. That's valid. But it's not nearly the amount of damage that Clem found early on, because remember, this is less of a commitment here. It's oh, nice body block there on the probes. That means this Reaper will fall, and that makes life a little bit easier. Now, an SCV is going to go down here as well. This single Adept should go down because new Cyclone's good. But the other one is going to get out. So at the end of the day, early game unit will fall. A little bit cheaper in the gas, but one more probe went down. Kind of a wash. Probably actually a little bit better for MaxPax, just because Clem was denied mining for oh so very long. But I know that much has been made about this Cyclone. This idea that, oh wow, they're so good, and even more importantly, they're going to be really good at giving Terran players a way to play mech versus Protoss, which we're not seeing, by the way. Gumio tried it in the KSL on Friday, but it wasn't all that impressive. Certainly not against Hero's blink pressure. Granted, that was literally 24 hours into the patch. It hadn't been deployed on Korea yet. They were playing on Singapore. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. But the point here is we're seeing that one Cyclone still defensively early on, even as the builds have changed. And behind that, Widowmine drop, tanks on the way here, a couple additional bunkers, and a Raven. So what I'm paying attention to here, as we see this Widowmine drop finding its way into the natural, what I'm going to pay attention to is whether we get the new Raven upgrade. So for those of you that haven't been paying attention to the patch, and it's fair, especially the different iterations of the patch, one of the things that held itself actually fairly constant was this idea that Ravens are too strong from like 5 to 7 minutes. They have this really powerful pushing window, and you got to get rid of it. So now Interference Matrix is hidden behind an upgrade. It is fat. It takes less long actually than it takes a Raven to build, but it does take a little bit of gas. It does force you to keep your starport on the tech lab maybe just a little bit longer, and it makes these Raven tank pushes a little bit more expensive. Not a ton, but it does force you to commit to them a little bit more than you otherwise would have. And maybe that's one less tank. Maybe you're hitting with 2 tanks instead of 3. But for now, MaxPax, he's got a couple Stalkers here. And oh, I love this. He shows Stalkers on the other side. He's not going to get the Widow Mines, though. Late shot. Okay. It's going to be... Oh, yeah, he got 3 probes. I thought it was only going to get 2. Gets 2 probes, or gets 3 probes. But the medevac does go down, and just a little bit of a bait there for MaxPax. Moved his Stalkers onto the other side. Try to convince Clem that, yeah, absolutely. I'm fine. My Stalkers are on the other side. You can dive in. It really didn't work out all that well. So for now, Stim on the way. Raven into the main base here. Again, we're not seeing the upgrade. It was a single Raven. Tech lab, not all that long. So this Raven's actually going to take a lot of damage. Here comes MaxPax on the other side. And by the way, this is not 4-gate. You could be forgiven for thinking that because there's a Warp Prism and because it's MaxPax. But this is 3-gate Blink. Robo behind. Colossus behind is MaxPax found himself supply blocked just a little bit. But he's got his 3rd base done. And the Stalkers on the other side. Cyclone stays alive, actually, but the Stalkers not taking too much damage yet. So they're going to be okay for the most part. Picking off, I think it was maybe an SCV. Getting some army units down as well. But MaxPax is doing a great job of doing a lot with a middle amount. I'm not going to say a little, because certainly that's a decent amount of Stalkers, but it's not 4-gate. It's not that crazy amount of Stalkers that we'll sometimes see. But for now, just plinking away at here, blanking the Stalkers away as they fire. You get some Marine or 2. But now we get to take a look at this push coming out of MaxPax here, and or coming out of Clem here at MaxPax. Continues to just blink away, continues to find that value. And it's 2 tanks. It's a Widow Mine. It's the Cyclone that has been repaired multiple times now. And now we get to see whether MaxPax gets to hold on. He's got 2 Colossus. 3rd one on the way. A couple Stalkers go down. But remember, there is no interference matrix on that Reaper, or on the Raven. It wanted to find values, not really going to find it. And now, I mean, Colossus on the high ground like this, with the sentries in tow for that 14-second Guardian Shield, 2 seconds longer, force fields as well, just to make it so hard to get up the high ground. And we're only looking at 2 tanks. We're not looking at the 3 that really put the pressure on the Colossus. And the Marines are just getting shredded here. Force fields, they're actually really good. They probably could have been better, but even still, they're fantastic. And MaxPax now, he's got his charge done. He's got his Colossus on the field, all 3 of them now. Zealots run down the ramp. At least they think about it. And I love that. The force field on the tank to make sure there's nowhere for it to run. And now Colossus on the high ground. Well, they can shell away at the tank. The Bio tries to stim forward here. It's not doing super hot, and tanks are dead. So Bio's got to run away. And MaxPax hold on. MaxPax makes this hold look easy. This push from Clem, quite honestly, it looked toothless. It really did not find all that much. And I think if this push happened last patch, there would be at least a Raven. I mean, there would be the Raven with energy, and it would have interference matrix 1 or 2 of the Colossus, and suddenly that fight's a lot easier. Suddenly MaxPax can't just kind of kill the tanks from the high ground onto the low ground like that and just cause all that havoc. And maybe Clem pushes through. Part of it's the map. I mean, pushing up onto the ramp like that is hard. And now Widow Mine drop into the 3rd base, but no damage here. MaxPax is just, he's on top of it. There are only 3 bases he's got to care about. Well, I guess he's got a 4th on the way, but really only 3 bases he's got to care about. And now pressure's getting ready here. Widow Mines, they're going to show up a little bit now into the natural. They're going to try to find themselves, but Stalkers warp in there, and the pressure at the front is powerful. It is 4 Colossus here, and our Viking count is 2. It's not a lot. Force fields are fantastic, and it's just going to continue to buy time, but some workers have gone down. Now 7 probes hit the deck. MaxPax down just a little bit here, but Clem, I think pretty quickly, he's going to have to give this position up. He's got a warp prism, MaxPax does. He can dodge the Vikings. He can move against. He can micro against the Marauders. With more warp-ins here, this sieged position from MaxPax is... It feels hard for Clem to deal with. Yeah, he's up 20 army supply. And that can be a problem. Maybe that will force MaxPax back. And the Viking count is starting to get respectable. He's at 6. It's not where you want to be, but it's something. Ideally, you're looking at 2 Vikings per Colossus. Well, good enough is 2 Vikings per Colossus. Ideal is 3, but going up to 12 Vikings, that's 24 supplies. Widow Mines, MaxPax doesn't blink out. Loses his stalker for it. But man, 24 supply of Vikings is a lot to commit to, especially as the game goes on a little bit more. Now DTs, they show up. They're not going to get scouted for the time being. And I want to talk about this a second as we're in a bit of the doldrums. I mean, yeah, there's pressure in the middle of the map, but DTs are forcing Clem back. So we get to talk about this. I talk a lot, as one of mine are going to go off here again. There's no detection in this army. Oh, no. I talk a lot about how, I mean, these DTs, so much value, about how running around a corner is the Terran's favorite pastime, or forcing their opponents to run around a corner. A Zerg, a Protoss running around the corner against the Terran, just, that's how you lose. But I'm really curious to see how this is going to work out, because in the middle of the map here, we have these speed zones, and they are right around that corner. Naturally, you're going to path around like this, and maybe that changes the engagement a little bit. Maybe you can run around a corner against a Terran. Yeah, it still forces some clumping, but if you can run through the speed zone and make contact a little bit better, maybe there is a world where that's not as painful as it might otherwise be. We'll find out. I don't know. I am excited to find out as we start to develop these maps so much more into the pool. And again, one of the things I was talking about at the start of this game is I don't think that we have a map pool per matchup yet. And I think this is, again, because there are so many more maps, there is room for a lot more style. There is room for us to talk about on the desk about how a player chooses a map that's interesting. But more importantly, I'm excited to see how this series and how these meta series are gonna really start to shape things out a little bit. But for now, Clem's on 4 bases. He's adding on those additional barracks, 2nd starport on the way, getting him +2 armor as well. And now I want to know how MaxPax approaches the late game. Because disruptors, they do as much damage as previously. Their Novas were just about as big as they previously were. I mean, the Nova size was nerfed in the January patch. But now they cost 1 more supply as this base will go down. And that means that the Protoss army for the same amount of supply is A, going to be smaller, or B, it's going to have less disruptors. And much has been made about how Protoss in the late game really didn't get much. Now, this is an interesting option, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. So, MaxPax, he's got a disruptor, maybe 2 in the army. Actually, how many does he have? Yeah, he's got a disruptor on the map. Really, just, I guess, it's kind of like I don't know, what's a good parallel? A couple Banelings or something, I guess. The job is to make your opponent micro then more than you expect to get damage done out of it. It's a reaction unit, not a kill unit here. So Colossus goes down very early. EMP is blanket the army, but not as bad as it would have been. That was 2 EMPs and like a third of the army's EMP. That's actually, again, the benefit of the Ghost nerf right there. But the point being is MaxPax is adding in Immortals into this army because it's pretty Marauder heavy. It's more Marauders than Marines at this point. And with the Hardened Shield buff, or the Hardened Shield bug fix, oh, nice disruptor shot there. That's somewhat reasonable, but we're gonna have to see how well it works out. Here's the Vikings continue to kite away on the speed zone. And between the speed zone and the buff they got in the January patch, they kite. They run really quickly here, but DT Zealots into the main base. DT's blink on top. This army, yeah, EMPs did everything, but you got to be able to kill it when it's revealed. Now onto the low ground here from the high ground. Clem takes the fight. Colossus coming in from an awkward angle. That is not, it's going to force MaxPax to take a fight. 1 Colossus goes down. 2nd one is too much for Clem to handle. He's going to have to back up a little bit. He's got to deal with these DTs in the main. He has to give this position up. And what I thought was a horrible situation, I thought MaxPax was going to lose everything, all of his splash damage. Instead, he just lodges a base. He gets a lot of Clem's army. He's up in supply, and all of a sudden here, looking pretty solid for MaxPax. Now getting on top of the planetary as well, but this is not where you want to fight. That Colossus so low. And without disruptors in enough numbers to plug that gap, I think you're going to have to content yourself with the base. And Stalkers are going to warp in here. It just wants to deal with the Liberators, I guess, which is awkward. I mean, they're going to blink in range. They're dying really quickly. +1 on the Liberators. It's not +2, but the army is showing on up here. Scans more get dropped. MaxPax gets a lot of damage with this. But I'm not really convinced that it's enough yet. That was expensive. That was tremendously expensive coming out of MaxPax. It was like 7 DTs, 10 Zealots, 6 Stalkers. That was a lot. And it didn't... Well, you know what? It did deny 3-3. And that is something. Denying 3-3 like that, that makes a big difference. It really... I know we talk about how gateway units don't truly matter in the late game. It's all about the spellcasters and these AoE units. But first of all, Immortals fight better. Colossus fight better against +2 versus +3. Those, oh man, those Widow Mines are strong. Disruptors, they're just going to get targeted down here. Backside friendly fire coming out of MaxPax, panic shooting. And the Vikings are, well, they're going to land now. Zealots, Immortals, Stalkers, they're still fighting. They are still trying to carry the day here. We need probably another warp in from MaxPax to deal with these reinforcements. And here it comes. Clem fighting desperately for his life, down only 9 army supply. Most of this supply gap is in the economy right now. And with no splash, it's not easy yet. It truly is not easy. More Zealots are going to join the fray. This 3-2 timing proving so powerful for MaxPax. But he's going to have to back up again. The choke that this base has, the damage that this even 2-2 bio has with the ghosts on top, and with these soon to be +2 Liberators, I think MaxPax wants to probably max out again. Or maybe take the fight to an outlying base. Something like that. And now this does unlock the map a little bit. Again, these disruptors just not finding their shots. Clem playing keep away. And man, so many Stalkers are going to die on the altar of these Liberators. Just extended Liberator range. Only 1 Stalker can fight. And now Clem around the corner. This time corners are the Protoss players' best friends. Oh! I thought that was going to be so much better. Disruptor hits, but it gets like 3 units. Just even with the speed zone, not quite enough here. And now there's no way MaxPax takes this fight. Clem, though, notice what he's going to do here. Targeting the Immortals, just hitting them, tagging them with the concussive shells. They can't run away. And that does slow things down a little bit. So Clem, he's now up in army supply. He's starting to fight his way back into this game a little bit. MaxPax had that slim timing where it felt like he was going to end the game, maybe. But the chokes and the concaves and the reinforcements of Clem were too strong. But now, here MaxPax gets on top of a couple Liberators very quickly. Disruptor shot is not going to hit. 2 Marauders, not enough. But now MaxPax, seems like for now, that's going to be enough of a position as the supply swings once again to dislodge this 5th base of Clem. And I mean, sure, Clem's got a 4th. This 3rd base, 4 mineral patches, not a ton. 3rd, natural, mined out. Main, mined out. This is a base and a half coming out of Clem right now, and he's muling heavily on it as well here. Disruptors zoning. This is starting to look really... MaxPax still has to win a fight, but this is starting to look really good for MaxPax right now. Resources lost is even with a mass late game gateway army. That doesn't happen. That is tremendously hard for MaxPax to pull off here. Now it blinks on top of the planetary. This is dead. There will be no saving it. Stalker's bonus damage to armor is going to be a little bit too much, but now we have to see if Clem on the retreat can catch this army. I think we just have to see a recall from Max with these Liberators as they are, but no, MaxPax opts into a fight, gets a couple Liberators, blinks away. Disruptors are not enough. They will just go down. And now Clem on the chase. MaxPax doesn't have the time anymore to recall here. He's going to have to take the fight right now, but he's getting absolutely positively shredded. The Immortals, they're all going to go down. The Bio's getting on top of everything, and look at resources lost. It's still not going massively in Clem's favor. I thought it would. I really did. But now Clem has 11 SCVs, those DTs in the 3rd base, in the natural. means that Clem is literally mining nothing. So Doom Dropper bust coming out of Clem in the main. But look at all the stalkers. They're going to end this game. And Clem, he falls down. MaxPax plays a banger. What a cool game. Gateway toss into the late game. Ground toss into the late game. What a cool game from MaxPax. That was fun. In the bottom right here in the blue in this duel of the European Titans. He's up 1. It's MaxPax. And on Sight Delta in the upper left in the red for Team Liquid. Put your hands together for Clem. Ooh. Clem. But of course, as we find our way into this series, and by the way, that was truly an incredible game number 1. I'd like to remind you all that if you want more games with MaxPax and Clem and Raynor and Cyril and Bjorn and Maru and all of these top players on the new patch, on the new maps, you should hit the sub button, because I can guarantee you from this point onwards, every single one's going to be on the new patch as we start to figure out what the PvT meta is and the TVZ meta is and all the mirrors, all these fun things. The ZVP meta. As we get to figure those things out, that is, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. The new maps as well. So hit that sub button, like this video, because that really does help things out. And let me know, how do you feel about the Mass Marauder late game? It seems strong until MaxPax tried to run away, and then, well, concussive shells really ruined it, and MaxPax did almost lose that game number 1. But of course, he had an economy, and Clem didn't, so that was that. But how do you feel about that Mass Immortal late game? Is the bug fix on making sure EMPs don't strip hardened shields, was that enough to make that kind of the late game composition? Let me know. What do you think? But now MaxPax trying to be a little cheeky here in this game number 2. He sends the probe across. Of course, Sight Delta is not quite as big as the last map. It's like a couple seconds shorter. And if you send the probe across, you can delay the SCV, which means theoretically you can send a Zealot and Adept across and really delay the command center. Now, the one problem with that, I don't know what that is. Actually, that's not really a problem. You get the Adept out anyways, so Reaper is going to be denied, not going to get the damage it wants to get, and actually, one shot, yeah, what am I saying? Reaper never goes down from a single Adept like that. But now MaxPax can send this Adept across, and the Zealot is already here. Now, this Marine should never go down, but you're not trying to get the Marine. You're trying to get the SCV for the bunker here, and that will delay the command center for just about forever. This is the value that MaxPax wanted to find. This is everything right now. Adept gets on top of the SCV, and now another one has to be sound to the low ground. This is 2 dead SCVs, and now Clem is doing that desperation thing where you hit the command center briefly. Just a tiny bit of time, you get a little bit of healing on it, and you go again. Now the Reaper will continue to pop out. Oh, nice micro here from Clem, actually. I thought this was going to be a disaster, and it's still not great, but he gets enough damage on the Adept that the shields don't regen, and even as this Reaper goes down, this is not going to be denied for forever in a day, just for forever. And with the Cyclone out as well, that is one of the things with this new push. Cyclones are reactor now, or just base. They're not a tech lab unit, which means that you can get them out earlier. They are really good at dealing with these early game plays. So as much as I said, hey, wow, this is really good for MaxPax, now that he's lost the Zealot and 2 Adepts, I'm not so sure. The power of the Cyclone might kind of kill these early game options coming out of the Protoss player. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see more of it, I think, because part of it could have been that Clem's micro just in and out of the bunker was enough to kind of tip that over the edge. So again, I just want to see more, but for what I've seen, like these first couple games, it does seem that the timing when you can deny the mining from the Terran just by having Cyclones behind the mineral line is much shorter, shall we say. It's just much more delayed. And behind this, oh, never mind. We're just 4:30. Got so excited about the early game, lost track of the clock. 2 additional barracks on the way off of the 1-1-1 opener from Clem. MaxPax, though, onto the... Oh, I love that preemptive pylon on the corner. Now MaxPax knows what's happening. Oh, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button. It answers the question, though, as we went back in time about 15 seconds. It answers the question. Blink is done. 4 gateways on the map. You can change the patch. You can change the maps. You can't take the 4 gate out of MaxPax. So, Stalker's running onto the other side of the map here. Widowmine drops goes off, but MaxPax saw this preemptively. So, is he gonna... Oh, no, MaxPax. That's not what you want there, friend. He tries to, I guess, mess around with the gas mining and put a probe in. But for now, 3 workers go down. We're gonna have to pay attention. 2 more probes. They hit the deck, so 5 in total, and MaxPax fails to break the bunker. This is a far better situation for MaxPax or for Clem than game number 1 was. But the thing we have to consider here is that because that Cyclone was made early, that delayed the tech lab, which did delay the tank count. We're looking at a single tank on the map right now instead of 2, and that actually makes a pretty significant difference as these Marines continue to fall down at the natural. MaxPax continues to shove on through, and look at this micro with the warp prism. It's gorgeous, and somehow he is blinking at 2 places at once. That is insane. He dodges the Widowmine at home. He actively is microing with his warp prism and his blink stalkers on the other side of the map. Quite frankly, that is a ridiculous display of skill coming out of MaxPax right now, and he's going to get the bunker down. 1 bunker goes down, tank falls here. MaxPax is starting to snowball in an incredible way. Now, there's 1 more bunker on the low ground, and a stalker will fall, and 3 more probes fall. So, not great there for MaxPax. 3 probes annihilated here by the missile from underground. But this medevac, yeah, last shot goes down. Now, all MaxPax has to deal with is these stalkers on the front line. If he gets this tank down, if he gets the bunker down, Stim is not going to be done for another 60 seconds. There's a very real, still a pretty real world here where MaxPax is able to snowball this on through. So now we're going to see STVs fall. And notice what MaxPax has done. This is 4 stalkers in a warp prism, as 1 does. But he's kept most of his stalkers in the natural, most of his stalkers away from the action. So maybe if Clem pulls a little bit too far into the main, these stalkers can think about diving into the natural. We're at 1 tank. It's on that gap between the main and the natural. MaxPax thinking about blinking into the main base here. What's our tank range at? He's going to get the tech lab. He's going to deny... Oh, he's going to get Stim as well here. Glory upon glories for MaxPax. This game, he's bought so much time. He ran into the mall. He bought literally everything he put everything he wanted in his cart. And Mr. B showed up and told him the entire cart was free. MaxPax has everything. He got tanks. Yeah, he lost some probes, and that's not incredible. He lost a couple more probes here. He's killed 11 SCVs. He's gotten all the bunkers. He's killed the 3rd base. I think that was an extra barracks going down. That had to get canceled. Another bunker will fall. He's getting tanks here. MaxPax might just win the game right now. I guess more. Yeah, there's more armies, so maybe not. And this army from Clem, I mean, 6 Marauders, 19 Marines, a couple medevacs. It is strong. MaxPax still only looking at 4 gateways right now, but this army, it's got healing. Doesn't have more than that. Colossus are on the way. Charges on the way. MaxPax needs to make sure he doesn't die in the next 2 minutes, and this game really should be his. Stalkers in the main base once again, and Clem's trying to take the 3rd. Fine, MaxPax knows what's up. He knows how Clem is committed to this. He gets 4 more. That's 15 dead SCVs. And more importantly, because the 3rd base is getting taken, MaxPax knows Clem has to stay and defend it, which means he's safe. Maybe a drop's gonna run in. Maybe a zealot is gonna, or he's gonna have another Widowmine drop, another Raven bit of harass, and if MaxPax doesn't pull these probes, all of a sudden, it's fine. 11 probes went down. It's okay. Who cares? All the damage MaxPax did, it's kind of gone away. Now, the other thing, of course, that we do have to talk about is that Stim is just about done. 3rd base done here for Clem. MaxPax does have superior tech by a pretty significant margin. Charge is done, fine, okay. 1-1 done for Clem. That's not something that MaxPax has. But he's going to have 2 Colossus pretty quickly. And against Pure Bio, if you have some sentries, if you have enough zealots to buffer, well, oh, okay, this medevac's going to go down tons of... MaxPax is just not going to allow Clem to take the fight. He's got zealots and stalkers on the other side, and Clem's going for a base trade. That is the option. That is the solution that he's going to have to go for here. In fact, MaxPax has a Colossus on the other side of the map. Widow Mines, friendly fire. Those zealots get low. Now it's going to be a recall of stalkers into the main base here. Probes are going to have to get pulled. What are we looking at? 1 Colossus, second one. Second one went down. No more robo here. Extended thermal lance done in 10 seconds, and the recall missed the Colossus. Everything we're talking about, this is kind of a disaster for MaxPax right now. He thought he could go and just win the game on the counterattack, but Clem never base trade a Terran. His army is just so much damage right now, and the Colossus is not here. Stalkers, they're trying to fight with shield battery overcharge. 39 dead probes. Clem still has an economy. Despite everything, Clem still has an economy. Stalkers blink on top, but they don't get any of the medevacs. And now you got to go on the other side. Clem, he's forcing MaxPax all in, but what's MaxPax going to do? He's down 2 upgrades. He's got a single Colossus. He's down double the army supply, more than double the army supply. Everything that I was praising MaxPax for, his decision of run onto the map instead of just defend, and Clem's decision to turn it into a base trade, that turned this game around. That, and I guess the Widow Mine drop at the third that maybe made MaxPax think he had to go all in, but I have no idea how MaxPax is supposed to take this fight now. He's got a Templar Archives up. He's thinking about adding some Archons to spend his gas, I guess. Getting some splash damage. There are no... Oh, that's a nice catch on some medevacs. But there are no... I guess there are no ghosts, something, but there's no weapons. MaxPax, the single G. Clem, what a comeback. He takes game number 2. We're tied up at 1 apiece. And in the upper left, on Oceanborn. He's in the blue, almost. Oh, inches away from a 2-0. It's MaxPax. And the bottom right in the red. Clawing it back. It's Clem. And what is this SCV doing on the map here? Well, actually, maybe not. Did I get baited? I got baited. Although this is gas first coming out of Clem, so it's not the SCV on the map necessarily, although this is looking like it might be a proxy second barracks, maybe just scouting. But gas first here coming out of Clem means aggression, and okay, he's going to eBay block the natural. Clem, we are 5 days into the patch, and you have not been able to play it on EU on Clem's standard practice area, but even still, he's got something spicy on the way. Gas first, eBay block. Clem does not want MaxPax to be comfortable in this game at all. And you know, when I look at it, Oceanborn, like this, I think this is the second time now that I've seen Terran eBay block the natural on Oceanborn. Oceanborn at first blush doesn't feel like it's that bad to take the third of the natural. But as I say that, I think I said this earlier, this is so wide open, and this is as well. Hellion run-bys are going to be a pain, but MaxPax, okay. He's going to take the more wide open, the linear third. Can we even call that the linear third? The less triangular third. And behind this, at least a barracks factory into something coming out of MaxPax or coming out of Clem. MaxPax has opted for a very aggressive positioning in this setup by taking that natural at that third base position. That kind of invites Terran aggression. It says, hey, you know, MaxPax. Or it say, hey, yo, Clem, you're like, I'm going to expand towards you. Hellions are going to be really good. Cyclones are going to be really good. Double Cyclones are going to be really good. And now, for the first time in this series, certainly, we get to see, I'm not even going to say Cyclones as they were designed to be. That's not really even true. They were designed to give you a mech option against Protoss and the new Cyclones, I mean. And that's not really what we see here. But we're going to see them for more than just a defensive unit. We're going to have this reactored Cyclone build, pumping them out 2 at a time. And remember, Cyclones were changed. They do bonus damage to mechanical units now, not armored units. So that does... Well, it actually doesn't really impact the early game because the only armored unit of the kind of the initial units that a Protoss is going to get is also a mechanical unit, right? Stalkers. Oh, but this is you know what? As much as I'm talking about potentials and changes, this is just a disaster. This is a Stargate opener for MaxPax. He's building oracles against the Cyclones popping out 4 at a time. This doesn't feel good. This really, really doesn't feel good. Shield battery overcharge is going to have to get popped. It's adepts against Cyclones. Oh, this feels bad. And remember, the lock-ons are just, they don't have a cooldown. Oracle's going to try to dive on top here. Oracle's just going to die. And you kite through the line of sight blocker. MaxPax is he just dead? Is this rally of Hellions with the battle line of 2 Cyclones in the Marines as well? Is this just enough to kill things? It might just be. Probes go dead. Yeah, MaxPax is dead. Clem, 2-1 lead. New Cyclone's pretty good. In the bottom right now, in the blue, his black, his back is against the wall. It's MaxPax. In the upper left, in the red, showing us just how good new Cyclones are, at least against target openers. It's Clem. So I don't know that we see that again. This was reactor into gas, not gas. Or this is barracks gas, Reaper expand. This is not a gas first build. So that is certainly something that means that we're probably not going to see that exact same build. But I am excited to find out just how aggressive. Well, I'm excited to see the evolution of that Cyclone build. Certainly, I'm hearing some chatter, and I think I might believe it, that the Cyclone changes effectively just kind of mean that Stargate play is not good anymore. Stargate play is just not that viable of an opener. Because the Cyclones just, they come out 2 at a time. They can deal with, because they come out so many of them so quickly. Phoenixes don't do much. Oracles that we saw, I mean, yeah, they can try to burst it down, but they really don't do all that much. It really does feel like Stargate openers might kind of be going the way of, and this is maybe too reactivist to take, I don't know. But it does feel like Stargate play might be going the way of the Dodo here. Just because, again, you can pop a reactor on it and reactively. You can reactively build Cyclones to do whatever you need to do. So I'm excited to see exactly where this is going to go. But again, that's not this game. This was a Marine expand, excuse me. Command center on the way. Clem going a lot more standard into this opener, yeah, as we expect. This is hard lead. I don't know what I'm saying. We can kind of theorycraft about this map, about how that forward third base, which is very similar to, what was the map in the last pool? It's funny. I have all the maps memorized in the moment. Was it Dragon Scales? I think it was Dragon Scales that has that forward kind of fourth base high ground that Terrans love. I am so good at, knowing the maps I need to know for each map pool, memorizing their names, getting all the stuff. But the moment we have a new map pool, like, that information goes right out the brain outside of some very specific ones. Like, I'm never gonna forget Overgrowth. I'm never gonna forget Abyssal Reef for a different reason. Golden Wall is, one that's always going to be there, but a lot of them, you're just like, hey, what was a map? How did that happen? Look at that body blocking for map. It's not going to happen. It did. Okay. I mean, I don't know how much it made a difference because the Cyclone got a lock on anyways. It maintained the lock on the entire time, but MaxPax trying to body block to keep that Adept alive was pretty cool. That did spark joy. Again, it didn't make much of a difference. but it was pretty fun. And we have like one of the really cool things about StarCraft as it gets into the later stages of its existence. Was that the? Okay, that was Scouting Hellion. As we get into the later kind of epoch of StarCraft, is maybe even we consider Clem MaxPax like 4th wave StarCraft pros. I don't have a number for that, by the way, but you know, something like that. As we can consider that. We're starting to see we're just there continues to be refinement in how things happen. Splits for the most part have been kind of figured out. This is not 2014 where we see the Marine split challenge and we are just overawed by it. The baseline skill is just there, but using individual units to body block Cyclones is that one's still pretty cool, or dodging individual stalker shots, which is what we saw, which was what we see Clem do occasionally. You know, we're seeing MaxPax do this. Those things still make us happy, and part of it because, you know, the body blocking thing to my eyes is a rather new thing that we're starting to see players do more and more. But MaxPax, this isn't 4-gate, it's just 3. But MaxPax, he can do a lot of damage with this anyway. So Stalker's thinking about blinking up into the main base here. Now, Widowmine on the other side, it's not going to go in yet. And this tank is already in position. So Stalkers, they eat a shot, run away, fight again another day. But I think it's interesting that this is the second game in this series where we've seen Clem go for the Raven and not get the Raven upgrade. It's like only 50 gas. It's not that expensive on the gas count. And it's actually relatively quick. But it seems like Clem just wants the Raven for harass. I don't know. Where is this Raven? Okay, just in the natural, like... So I guess he just wants the Raven to keep himself safe against DT openers, which is something that MaxPax is known to do, just so we're clear. And just for harass later on. I guess that's going to be the place for now. MaxPax kites away, gets the bunker, gets a couple more Marines. And he is just buying time here, buying space, buying damage, trimming down this Terran army enough so that when eventually Clem will run across the map, when Stim +1 combat shields are done in about a minute and a half, the army will be manageable. So for now, third base is going to get canceled. Oh, it's going to get killed. MaxPax. That's 450 minerals right there. That is going to... Oh, man. That is a beautiful trade there for MaxPax. I think Clem... I don't know what he was thinking. He just kind of let it sit there for a moment. Trying to do last-second cancel and caught off guard by the amount of damage the Stalkers did, I guess. I don't know. It really did feel cancelable. But now MaxPax, charge on the way. Additional gateways getting added in. So we're going to see that a bit more of a supply explosion. He's going to be able to start to build this army that will deal with the Terran push coming on out and really running across the... It's going to hit the other side of the map right around 720, 730. Somewhere in that neighborhood. So MaxPax with these Stalkers here, he's going to try to get a couple more Marines as he just blinks away, gets damage on the rest. And by the time that this pressure happens, there will be 2 Colossus. Or the second one's going to be popping up pretty much as this push arrives, I think. Extended Thermal Lance, probably not done. Charge will be, though. And I love this pylon here for MaxPax. The army on the right side as well. MaxPax getting ready. I think this is for flanking Warpins. So for now, the scan goes off, sees this Colossus here. It's a bit of a bait. Those Stalkers coming in from behind. It's a big surround for MaxPax right now before +1 is done, but he's not going to trigger it. Raven takes a lot of damage, but will not fall down. 2 Colossus here ready now. Extended Thermal Lance in 5 seconds. And that's the time that we are buying. 1 Stalker goes down. The Widowmines, or excuse me, the Force Fields were really, really nice. And now Extended Thermal Lance do a little bit better. Stalkers blink forward. They don't get the medevac. And that Widowmine coupled with the tanks, it's a lot of damage. Widowmine drop goes into the natural here as well. Clem finds his way into the natural. Widowmine goes off. 4 probes go down. And a pylon depowered. A robo shut down. There will not be a 3rd Colossus for quite a while here. MaxPax has to take the fight with 2, and the Widowmines are causing so many issues here. MaxPax tried to blink on top of the tanks, but the Widowmines, they killed all the Stalkers, and now there are Colossus. Sure, fine. They're power units, absolutely. But there is nothing to buffer for them, and now Shield Battery Upcharge is going to be done soon. Colossus 1 dead. Second one stays alive for a little bit longer. And the Widowmines, they get the Warp Prism here. MaxPax is in trouble. He's in so much trouble. And now the Colossus, it's 4 Stalkers. It's 4 Stalkers, but this army of the Terran is starting to run out of rally for the second. Clem's up with 30 army supply. He's in a fantastic spot. He's got +1 attack. He has these Widow Mines here, so they're going to go off Stalkers Blink back this time. He's got this defensive tank line. But Clem does need his army to join together. He needs to... Oh, these Marauders, they're going to get on top of the Colossus. It's going to go down. Marauders don't take damage from Colossus. Not really. Yeah, Zealots are good. Zealots are really good. But you can just dodge them. You can pick up, dive around, dive, duck, dip, dodge, and MaxPax doesn't have that potential. He doesn't have that micro ability. He doesn't have that personal healing for every single unit. And this rally is going to just continue to get worse and worse here. Shield Battery Overcharge has to get popped once again. That will keep the Colossus alive. And to give credit to MaxPax, he's starting to get rid of some of these personal healers. These medevacs are running out of energy. They are starting to go down. And this Colossus on the high ground is doing so much. He continues to chrono them out. But it feels like every single time it's just almost. It's not quite enough. And Clem, he does have his third base. He's got concussive shells on the way. He's got 1-1 now. And this only continues to get worse for MaxPax. This only continues to get harder. He's got to find some way to keep Clem off this, to dislodge Clem from his side of the map. And honestly, this is maybe the time. MaxPax, he's closer in army supply than he's been for a while, but he runs Zealots onto the other side of the map. He's looking for reinforcements. He's looking to force Clem back home, I guess, with these Zealots into the mineral line. But Clem preemptively drops a bunker. It's going to get canceled, but then buys time. The Zealots don't get on top of the mineral line quickly enough, and the reinforcements, this parade push to Clem, they can just run over to the third. They will shut these Zealots down, and now MaxPax has got to find another way. He's going to have a second Colossus eventually. Dark Shrine getting started here. It's about halfway done. And he's taken a 4th base on 52 probes, but we need to find more. We really, if you're a MaxPax fan, you gotta find, not bending, not bend but not break. He's traded 2,500 resources worse, but you gotta find the break. You gotta find a way to rubber band your way onto the other side of the map and just really beat Clem down. And the Colossus might have been that option. As Clem continued to push with just bio, the Colossus may have been that option, but Clem realizes that because he was forced back, because the Zealots kind of delayed, put a bit of a damper on that parade push, Colossus would be out in enough numbers to really make it hard for him to fight. So we're seeing Vikings pop out 2 at a time. By the time that he moves out once again, he's going to have 4 or 6 Vikings, and realistically, that's good enough. That is enough to deal with the Colossus count that MaxPax has, especially with the supply lead. As now DTs are going to show up in the third base, in the natural here. This will at least put a bit of a damper on... Okay, that's going to be unfortunate there. MaxPax had an observer on top. That is going to slow the economy down just a little bit. EMP, I think, got the DT in the natural. So, yeah, both DTs went down. So there is that. And we're seeing missile turrets go down just about everywhere. This was the one opportunity. MaxPax, or Clem, is so worried about the DTs that he put 2 missile turrets in the third, but he understands that, quite honestly, the only way he loses this game is if DTs kill everything. So for now, that's not going to happen. Disruptor is just not going to land, and this army from Clem is really, really strong. It's impressively strong here. So now Shield Battery Overcharge. It's trying. It really is. Disruptor shots will not land. They're just going to go down. And the army's dead. MaxPax doesn't have enough here. He's fought so hard to try to drag his way, kicking and screaming back into this game. But the momentum from Clem was just too much. And at the end of the day, Clem, between the Cyclone build, this game, he just kind of runs MaxPax over after a really cool game 1. Clem, he's your champion of EPT NA 195. 3-1 over MaxPax.